we're talking all things 2024 election problems. So the first thing we're going to discuss, so October 29th was the last scheduled day for early in-person voting in the state of Pennsylvania, in particular Bucks County, Pennsylvania. First issue, the voting lines were closed early at 2:30 when they were supposed to remain open until 5. This closure was 2.5 hours early. This was done at the location in Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
It's 2:41 and they are ending the line.
This was also done at the location in Quakertown, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little spying. Looks like people are online still. Let's see what's going on.
There you go. That's it.
Hey, that's your job. You keep
Yeah,
the peace.
that's it.
You know. All right. So that's it. That's a mail-in. That's a on.
No, that's a box of other forms. That's a box of.
Is that the going wrong?
I have a question. I have to bring someone here about 4 o'clock to vote. Are they
I'm
gonna?
going to ask you to talk to
Are they
this.
gonna turn everyone down?
I'm going to ask you to talk to this gentleman because the voting is closed right now.
It's closed.
I just want you to talk to this gentleman.
We have the right to vote until 4:30.
I got you. Here's
Why
what
is it
happened.
closed?
Let me explain it to you.
Please.
Okay. This process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're
Very
online.
slow and grueling.
Doesn't matter if we're online by 4:30. We have the
The
right
reason
to
why it
vote.
had to close was because a high volume of people wanted to do this. Slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have
they
to
had
wait till everyone's.
They had to cut the line at 1:45.
They cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45.
Here's the
This
form
is
right here.
voter fraud, by the way.
No, it's
who are
not.
You? Yes, it is. Oh, voter protection. I heard about that on X. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Contact
Voter protection. Let's see what
contact
that's
the
from.
county commissioners to complain.
This is, and so you don't think this is voter fraud? This is voter fraud. See that, everyone? They cut the line, even though we have till 4:30. Election fraud here in Bucks County. And you have an oath. I mean, don't you care? I mean, like, really? This is ridiculous. They're not accepting anyone else.
Oh, did they cut off for today?
They cut it off because of election fraud. That's why they cut it off.
That's incorrect. It's actually posted online that they can cut it
No,
off.
it's election fraud.
It's not.
It's
but
election
okay.
fraud. What are you voting for the left? It's election fraud. They're open till 4:30. Everyone in line has the right to vote until 4:30.
On election day.
No, this is election day.
I got it videotaped.
This is ridiculous. I just got a video.
Cops, as you saw in both those videos, put out signs at the end of the lines and also blocked doors. But this was just the beginning of problems in Bucks County. As a result, the Trump campaign sued and won, extending early voting by a few days. Bucks County did not like this, so they decided to only hire 1 to 3 employees to work those extended days, leading into our second problem. In Levittown, Bucks County, there was 6-hour long lines just to vote.
What's up, you guys? Diligent Denizen here. I am here in Levittown at the voting center at the library, where this line is wrapped around the building and barely moving at all. Now, the staff hasn't, as far as I know, the staff hasn't told anybody that they had to leave or tried any shenanigans like that. They are just taking their sweet time. This line is long. And this line is long. How long have you guys been waiting?
Oh, about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Die hard.
3 hours. How long have you guys been waiting? Look, they have chairs out for people. That's how long they've been waiting. How long you guys been waiting? How long you been waiting? You got here at 12? 4 hours. 4 hours. Pizza, drinks. 6 hours. 6.5 hours. Don't leave the line. Hold the line.
People in line said there were only 2 employees working at that location. Also, Quakertown, Pennsylvania had 3-hour-long wait to vote. And at the third location across the county in Doylestown, there was also long lines. Obviously, regardless of what party you are for, closing the polling locations early and 6-hour-long lines are obviously unacceptable. You shouldn't have to wait 6 hours or 3 hours to vote. You should be able to walk in, vote, and then leave. But we are in America, and that is not allowed, apparently. Well, anyway. Unfortunately, we have an interview here with a woman who had to go home. She could not vote that day because she had other things on her agenda.
Hi, it's Heather with Early Vote Action. We are here at Quakertown, and I have a voter who unfortunately cannot stay. You want to tell me what happened?
Well, we've been here since 3:15 at Quakertown, so we were told to fill out these papers. But now the process, we're getting up to the door, and the process is they just changed it where people are waiting an hour to get this back. And it's my daughter's birthday. She has dinner reservations in New Jersey, so we're not able to stay in line. Because if it's another hour, once we fill this out and give the ballot, then we have to stay and we can't vote on Tuesday. And there's people still waiting on the other side that were here like way before we were, because they're neighbors of ours, we know them. So.
And how long have you been here?
We've been here since 3:15, and it's what, 6 now? So 3 hours, just about 3 hours. So, and unfortunately we can't stay here because she's got to be somewhere. So there's nothing that we can do to hang out here. So we will go vote on Tuesday, absolutely, and just hope that the process is flawless on Tuesday, you know. But this is nuts.
Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. You guys are professional. Like, I can't say enough nice things about you guys. Awesome. A wonderful experience with all of you. You can't do enough. You're helpful. You're energetic. You're keeping everybody having pizza. All of it. So
Thank you.
Kudos to you guys. That it's a wonderful organization. So
Thank you.
hopefully we'll be able to have contact with you guys again on a more positive note.
When Trump gets in office.
Absolutely.
And obviously, with a 6-hour wait, which you shouldn't have to wait 6 hours, but a 6-hour wait nonetheless, there were people, obviously, that could not physically stand to wait in line for 6 hours, mostly the elderly and the disabled community. Also, no food or drink. You don't plan to stand in line for 6 hours to vote. So you don't have food or drink with you, and obviously this woman had other plans. She said she was coming back Tuesday, but how many people could not come back Tuesday? How many people were unable to vote because of the 6-hour-long lines in Levittown, because of the 3-hour-long lines in Doylestown? How many just went home and gave up? That doesn't end the trouble in Bucks County, as Thursday this week, a video from the Bucks County committee meeting was released. and it shows the Bucks County Commissioner basically say she doesn't give a damn about the law. She doesn't give a damn about what the Supreme Court said. She is going to still count illegally dated ballots. So what this stems from the Bucks County Committee determining that they are going to count illegally dated, wrong dated, incorrectly dated ballots. Now, we are 2 weeks, a week and a half, I'm taping this Saturday night. We are a week and a half after the election, but Bucks County is still counting ballots. They are counting post-dated ballots. They're counting whatever they have. Now, Pennsylvania Supreme Court has stepped in and said, this is illegal. You are not allowed to do this. But the Bucks County Commissioner, with her smug attitude, said, oh, people break the law all the time, so I'm going to break the law so that the courts come after me. Let me play that.
We reject all three categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
And coincidentally now, Trump's lead in Bucks County is shrinking, and also Dave McCormick's lead over Bob Casey is shrinking. So, that woman needs to be arrested, that woman needs to be locked up, and we need to stop counting ballots a week and a half later. We should not be counting ballots. I'll get more into that in a little bit, just my opinion on overall mail-in balloting, but let's go over some other issues. So, still prior to Election Day here, we have ballots, drop boxes, catching fire. Okay, so how many votes were destroyed here? How many of these people's voices were not heard because the ballot drop box caught on fire? Regardless, again, a lot of the issues I'm pointing out here, it doesn't matter what political party you are for. This should not be happening. I mean, the first issue, cutting the lines off early, 6-hour-long waits. Now we're looking at drop box fires. We should not be having that. Okay, how many voices were not heard in that incident? Okay, another issue. Here's a Kentucky machine that was switching votes for Trump to Harris. First of all, he hits it multiple times, like 5 or 6 times. It didn't register. And when it finally does register, it registers a Kamala Harris vote when he clearly voted for President Trump. Okay, now that brings us to Election Day. First incident I want to discuss here is Kamala Harris, little tiny dot. You see a picture here of a ballot. Now, this is pretty scummy. They put a little tiny dot on the Kamala Harris ballot. That way, if you fill in another circle for Trump, Chase Oliver, RFK, somebody else on the ballot, that presidential section will be voided. The ballot will not count because there is a mark in Kamala Harris's box. Obviously, make sure your ballot is unmarked, but that's another thing. Another issue, Pennsylvania, again. Voting machines went down in Cambria County, Pennsylvania. Now, this is a historically red county.
Getting it back and saying the exact same thing. We can't reach the courthouse. Roxanne did call a coworker because she works at the courthouse, just not in the election office, and he is informing us that literally everybody in the county is having the exact same problem. So they must be getting overrun by calls. I am continuing to attempt to reach you. There is an option. I do have an emergency where you can fill out your ballot and stick in there, and I can take it up to the courthouse to be hand counted. The people that are in there now don't want to do that because they want to make sure that their vote is counted. It's not that they don't trust us, they don't want to do that, and that's what's holding up the line. I'd imagine if anybody here wants to fill out their ballot and put it in the emergency box to go up to the courthouse, I can take it out. If you guys want to wait to the
Get to some of the issues that happened throughout the night. We had midnight ballot dumps round 2. Okay, so here's Detroit, Michigan, where at 11 p.m., boxes of ballots were still arriving. This is 3 hours after the polls closed. I want an explanation here. What is this? Why is this taking place? Give me an explanation. Well, Detroit, Michigan wasn't the only town that had ballot dumps in the middle of the night. 11:51 p.m., this got caught on MSNBC News. Mysteriously, 2 box trucks were getting a police escort into the counting center 4 hours after the polls closed.
50,000 ballots to be released in the next 9 minutes, and then 37,000 tomorrow. I want to just quickly show you, it looks like actually maybe there's some ballots or something coming in right now. We see a police car escort with 2 different vans, but I do want to show you, Rachel, just come take a look through the window here, because this is the one angle you can see election workers here in Philadelphia that is not their camera processing the ballots, and they're all in there now going through the process. Election workers doing their great civic duty. In about 9 minutes time, we expect the information about those additional 50,000 ballots. And then again, just underscore, tomorrow morning there will be another release here in Philadelphia.
I think we need to just get rid of mail-in ballots altogether. That would be a lot easier, unless, of course, there's a few exceptions like military and working out of state, etc., that should be able to vote by mail. But if you cannot vote on election day, then you should not get to vote. I'm sorry about that, but that's just how it is. With a few exceptions, obviously. There should be some exceptions for the military, people that work out of the state that they live in. But this whole mass mail-in balloting, we need to get rid of that. Pennsylvania here in particular, we had an entire month where people could drop their ballot off into a drop box. There should be none of that. That would cut down into my second issue, which is we should know on election night by 2 or 3 a.m. who the winner of the election is, and we should not be counting ballots a week and a half later. My little thoughts and my solutions there, that would have addressed the first issue of closing early. That would have addressed the 6-hour long lines because they wouldn't have been voting early, and they wouldn't have had to employ people. That also would have addressed the issue of the drop boxes being destroyed. That also would have addressed the issues, a lot of the issues that I brought up. Now, at the end of the day, those are things that need to be addressed and problems that happened with this 2024 election. However, at the end of the day, we as conservatives and Republicans got the outcome that we wanted, but those things should still be discussed, they should still be talked about, and they should be brought up. Because, obviously, we shouldn't be closing polling locations early. We should not be waiting in 6-hour-long lines to vote. We should not be having our drop boxes mysteriously catch on fire, along with machines flipping votes, along with the 2 incidences of box trucks arriving early way after hours. Like, I get it if it's an hour or an hour and a half, hell, maybe even 2 hours. But 3 and 4 hours after the after the polls close, we need an explanation on that. But more importantly, we need an explanation on what is going on in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Again, I'm going to bring this up again because I feel like it is very important. The court of Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, said that counting of misstated, undated, or improperly signed ballots shouldn't be happening. We should not be counting those ballots. We should not be counting those votes. Bucks County is still counting those votes. Trump's lead is shrinking in Bucks County, and so is Dave McCormick's lead in Bucks County, as a result of them counting those illegal ballots that the court said were illegal. But I think what bothers me most about this whole situation is the smugness and the arrogance of the Bucks County Commissioner. Oh, people break laws all the time. Arrest them. They need to be arrested. God bless. Have a great week. That concludes election problems.